My name is Omar Saiboo Camara. I am the spokesperson of Gambians Against Looted Asset, GALA. I think in the first place, putting forward an ex-partie motion was a miscalculation, and the government knew this was a miscalculation. However, they always want to test waters, and that's what they have tried. But they need to understand that the Gambia is not going to be the same again with the new trend of a new citizen that are aware and will always uprise against unjust and unlawful act which the government attempt to do, because you cannot rearrest, or I will call it a kidnap, an individual that have been discharged and acquitted by the court. If you want to make an appeal, Ousainu needs to go home and then you file an appeal which is lawful, which we will accept. If the appeal is heard and then the judgment is made, and whatever the judgment decide, therefore you can take an action. But directly trying to put into another motion is just abuse of power, which is unacceptable. And then thank you to the Gambian people that rise against this. And this is not just for Ousainu, but also set the precedent to ensure that the government cannot just jump in within powers vested in them to abuse, unlawfully and unjustly act against citizens and uncitizens. I see, Flex, I think we need to be honest that the presidency is not mere Saiboo or Flex if you come to freedom of expression. Of course, the president have a right to freedom of expression, but freedom of expression, even for a common Gambian like me or you, needs to be responsible, but also needs to be smart. The president is not just anybody that can comment on criminal matters judged by a court. The president doesn't just make a comment. The president threatened Ousainu's freedom and court judgment by saying it's hypocritical, actually, sorry for the language, to say we accept the court judgment, but we still believe that Ousainu committed the crime. You are telling us that you have not respected the court judgment. They are not acknowledging the court judgment. So the president's speech was a miscalculation. If I was him, I would rather remain silent, or as president, if I'm really interested in justice for the cops that lost their life, is to call in for a fresh investigation and hold my criminal justice system accountable, because they have failed. 2.5 years, they couldn't bring any evidence beyond reasonable doubts to hold Ousainu accountable for the killing, meaning he's innocent. Now you should hold those people accountable. You should hold your DPP accountable, the AG accountable, the IGP accountable for failing in their investigation, for failing to produce tangible evidence to have Ousainu connected to the case. So I think the president, that what he's supposed to do, if he had any, wanted to speak and then comment on the case, that would have been the right direction, not to say he believed that Ousainu did the crime, and then unfortunately that the state have appeal, and in the appeal case there is no new evidence admitted. If there is new evidence admitted, I would have loved the president to come and testify and bring the new evidence that made him believe that Ousainu did the crime. So it was unfortunate comment from the president, to be honest, Yusuf.